Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Gentile. I am the second largest shareholder of Group 11 Resources, ticker ZNG. I currently own 17% of the company, and I'm very pleased to have the CEO, Bart Jaworski, with me today, talking about some more very exciting drill results from Ballywire. So, Bart, please fill us in on the details here.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Yeah, it's exciting news this morning. We've really stepped out 180 meters and got some very stellar drill results, over 100 meters of mineralization, Mike, with stacked full of high-grade zones within it. So I'll just remind viewers where we are. We're in the Republic of Ireland, in this area called the Limerick area, where I'm highlighting in yellow. If I zoom in on that box to get this picture, just to remind viewers, Glencore is everything you see in blue, South 32 everything you see in yellow. And our discovery at Ballywire is here where the yellow circle is. So I'm just going to jump into that yellow box and just show you where we were before today's news release. So this is all basically looking plan view, looking down. All the red dots are the holes that hit some really high grades. The yellow dots are weaker grades, but still hit some good mineralization. And basically where we got to today is we stepped out 360 meters, Michael, and hit over 100 meters of 3.5% and 25 grams. Included in that was 5.6 meters of 13% and 100 grams, over 100 grams silver. Another zone of over 4 meters of 15% and 34 grams. Another zone of nearly 5 meters of 9% and 40 grams. And 3.6 meters of 3.1% zinc lead with 100 grams silver and over 0.45% copper. And that's a really big hit, which I'll show you just now. I'll zoom in on that as a cross section. So if we look at this area in a cross section from the side, if you recall, a few months back, we were drilling out here. This was a big step out for us initially. The first hole that we drilled got sniffs. This hole number 5 here got sniffs. We then turned the rigs around and drilled through here. And if you remember, we got 1,400 grams per ton silver and up to 6%, almost 6% copper down here. And we knew that we were probably getting close. We were in the feeder structure. And the question was, what happens when we drill to the north of that? Well, today we've answered that question. So the first hole that we're announcing today is hole 15. And so we stepped out 50 meters from that high silver, high copper hole, and we got a 36 meters zone of mineralization. Within that was around 4 meters of 6% with 17 grams, et cetera. Another 4 meters of over 5% zinc lead, another nearly 5 meters of 5% with almost an ounce of silver. So very good, but we stepped out again. And this is where things got really exciting. Another 50 meters over, we've got this hole 17, 108 meters of mineralization. And within that, again, just stacked with high grades all throughout it. The top of the intersection was dominated by steeply dipping orientations, mostly veins, etc., probably subparallel to this interpreted fault structure running through here. All the mineralization down here, however, was more flat-lying in nature. Massive sulfides, sphalerite rich, very interesting looking material. And again, we got some very nice results on the back of it. So that's really interesting because it shows we've stepped up 360 meters from our best hole to date, and we're hitting almost better mineralization here in terms of overall thickness of the mineralization, the overall breadth of the mineralization, the intensity of the mineralization seems to be getting better, or at least equal, if not better, over here. So we're really excited about what we were announcing this morning. And now, if we look back to the plan view and go one step back, this is about 100 meters away from our best hole ever, from B to B prime, and look at that in cross section, Michael. Here we're getting essentially, basically, we're starting from scratch here. We haven't drilled here before. So this is a 100-meter step out into an area we've never drilled before. And we're getting 7.5 meters of 9% zinc and lead and an ounce of silver. So again, very good result right there. That's within a larger 24-meter package of mineralization. And as you can see here, we're drilling hole 18, we're drilling hole 20, we're drilling hole 22 to follow on. So this is an area that we find very interesting. So stay tuned for those drill results that are coming. And then last point to make on this area is this section C to C prime, where, if you remember, this is the best hole that we drilled most recently. This was in mid-June. Remember where we recall when we got 29 meters of 11% zinc and lead and 78 grams silver and a little bit of copper, and that was our best hole ever. And we had a little bit of mineral on to the south of it, down dip, 50 meters. Hole 13 also got another nice 25 meter zone of mineralization. And this morning, what we announced, we stepped out another 50 meters and we got another continuation of that. So we're still in the system. We're still getting 3 meters of roughly 3% and 10 grams per ton. So again, the zone is continuing to widen out a long dip, which is also very promising to see here.
Or if I could just interrupt you for a second, I would say that, a couple of things really impressed me with this play, and I think it continues to prove it today, was the consistency which the company continues to hit mineralization with almost every single hole. This obviously proves your geological understanding of the play being very robust. You know where to target the base of the West limestone seems to be very prolific, and you're able to target it very consistently. But also be just a reminder of viewers of how shallow these holes are. These are very impressively large widths of mineralization, but not very deep either, right, Bart, in terms of depth and potential economic impact for the company.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at these holes here, hole 17 ended at 278 meters. I think the beginning of the hole was about 143 meters. So we're starting to get quite shallow here. And what these holes basically imply is that perhaps it's getting thicker and better as we move towards the shallower northeast portion of the property. And so that's going to be continuing to be shallower and shallower as we chase it towards the northeast. So you're absolutely right.
You mentioned the best hole you've had so far, 360 meters to I guess that would be southwest. But I mean, this hole has 17 to give it a good run for its money in terms of economic value. And I think this very well may be the best hole we've drilled so far in terms of, you can have an argument over a pint on this, but they're both really fantastic holes here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, things are looking great in that regard. Yeah. So basically that's where we're at today. I mean, it's a big step forward for us again because the step outs are just very stellar here. The intercepts themselves are stellar. They are pointing towards maybe things shifting northwards. What we added to this press release this morning, Michael, as well, is these fault zones, interpreted fault zones that you see in the green dashed line here, which basically shows we've had about a kilometer of very much consistent mineralization along here, and that structural zone has continued. But for this last batch of this 360 meter step out, things seem to be moving northwards a little bit as we're moving towards the northeast. And so what we're wondering is, as we're stepping out, and first question is, what's going on here? Is there a wider zone of thicker, higher grade mineralization, number one? And secondly, are things stepping northward as we're moving towards the east? And by the same token, are things maybe stepping down towards the south as we're moving towards the west? And so that's why perhaps, the other tidbit on this news release, Michael, was anomaly B here towards the southwest. We did test that with a hole, and it did get mineralization. We did hit mineralization, anomalous, highly anomalous mineralization, but we're still in the system. Much like what we hit on the outskirts of hole 17 today, which is our headliner hole. Just to the south of that, we were getting, weaker sniffs. And are we basically getting the same thing here? And maybe the system could be more closer to this green line here, maybe as things are stepping down to the south. And so that's a line of thinking that we're following with further drilling, as we progress on this project. But certainly we'll be focusing, given the success we've had towards the northeast, this is going to be our focus for the foreseeable future. And then when we really spread our wings along this whole 6 kilometer trend, the next line of inquiry will be what's happening over here. Can we chase this down and find the continuation of that down towards here? And what does this hole mean from 1997? Because this is still a bit unknown. It's very shallow. It's very easy for us to follow this up, but obviously 2.5 meters is 6%. That was drilled way back in 1997 and never really followed up. But we've since made a discovery here, but how it ties back to the discovery is still unknown. So these are sort of the questions. But certainly very, very exciting news. And the next, I'll just leave you with this one last point, is what investors can look forward to here is 2 more holes from this section A to A prime over here, just to the north of hole 17. And we've got 3 holes here, as you saw from those cross sections. So we're stepping out along this 100-meter step out section, where we also got some good mineralization. So we're currently drilling holes 18, 20, and 22. So lots to look forward to, and obviously 2 rigs still turning, 1 rig turning at Geographic West as well. So lots of news from now to Christmas.
I guess two rigs running, Bart, and these are relatively shallow holes, so that the pace of news flow should be intensifying. We started the year with one rig, we're up to three rigs now, I believe, all drilling relatively shallow holes. So the turnaround times on these holes are definitely quicker. And with three rigs running, obviously the pace of news flow should
Yeah,
be quite
yeah.
robust into the back half
Turnaround
of
should
this
be
year.
quicker because we are shallow those, yeah.
Right. Well, congrats, Bart. Amazing, amazing success. I mean, I've said it before in terms of capital efficiency and proving out a 1.5, 2 kilometer strike length here with a very few drill holes and very limited money. You win the award for most efficient explorer in my portfolio right now, and these results are truly fantastic. So, congratulations.
Thanks, Michael. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your support.
Thanks, Bart.